This post is about feelings and emotions. And if you don't know the difference between the two, if you think that they are the same, if you think that they are good for you, if you think that they are signs from God, that they're signs from the devil or demons or angels, this is for you. Welcome back to the YouTube. Okay, my name's Kyle, and I transform leaders who don't understand how to get into their purpose. People who are successful on the outside, but inside feel downright miserable. So, feelings and emotions. This post is exactly it's for your discernment, and this should be listened to in its entirety. It should be listened to in its entirety. So, first, let's talk about feeling. Okay, what is feeling? To feel something. When you feel something, just me saying that, it should give you a clue as to the direction, what direction you flow. Feeling is reception. When you feel, you receive. When you feel, you receive. And you feel in many different ways, not just with your heart. Okay, people kind of only like to connect that with, your intuition. Oh, I'm feeling this way. Oh, I feel this. Okay, feeling is like you are a walking detector. You walk around and you detect things. You detect the bird chirping outside with your ears. You can detect the texture on your pencil. You can detect the colors of the sky, or how grass smells. Or you can detect danger. Or you can even detect energy inside of another person if you have a spiritual gift. This is what feeling is. When you say I feel, another way of putting that is I am detecting this in this way. Feeling. Feeling cannot be expressed or communicated. Okay? Feeling cannot be expressed or communicated. Feeling can only be received. Then you communicate how the feeling is impacting you, how it's shifting you, how it's manipulating you, how it's, engaging with you. So feeling. Now, feeling is not an emotion. Okay, there's a thing called emotion, and then there's a thing called feeling. You'll never hear anybody ask you, what emotion are you? What emotion are you? No, they always say, what are you feeling? And then you say, I feel sad. I feel angry. I feel this. I feel that. I'm anxious. Whatever. Feeling. Okay. Feeling is pure reception. And we feel in many different ways. We can see, I think, about 10 miles. Okay. Like it's struck without anything in your point of view. I stammering over my words. Hearing, right? We can detect sound waves. We can detect light waves with our eyeballs. We can detect pressure, possible danger with texture. Okay, with our sense of touch. We can also detect the spirit world through a thing called intuition. Now, there's a word for this that science has kind of conceptualized into the thing that receives. The thing that the word I'm talking about is called intellect. Okay? Your intellect is your feeler. Okay? The word intellect, it means cognitive facilities. So your cognition, how can you feel, like cognition, your eyesight, your hearing, your touch, all that stuff, your motor skills, your reasoning, your intuition, okay? That is how you feel, through intellect. You feel through intellect. People think intellect means you are intelligent, or you're knowledgeable, or you're smart. Those words literally are very differently spelled. They don't mean the same thing. Like I said, this video is for your discernment. Let's talk about emotion. Emotion is well, the word emotion means social agitation, or a social stirring. Okay. Now, agitate, it just means to stir. Okay. You're moving something. What if I told you emotions aren't even real? Now, many therapists or psychologists, have created what is called the emotional wheel. It's a wheel. Look it up, and you'll see that this wheel has many different like spokes, and in it there's like happiness, there's sadness, there's anxiety, there's sadness, depression, anger, rage, irritation, all this stuff, right? And all these emotions that's on that wheel, every last one of those emotions do not have a single cell that we can verify or examine. We have never discovered a single cell organism that creates or builds what we consider to be happy, sad, angry, depression. Like there's no physical existence. There's no matter that weighs anything that is called an emotion. So why can we detect emotions if they're not real? Like I just proved to you that they're not real, but we can feel them. We can detect them. It must be some type of intuition. It's not intuition. It literally, the definition just told us, social agitation. Now, for an emotion to be, okay, for any emotion to be, to ever exist, you have to at least be thinking about another human being. Maybe your ex-husband, your ex-wife, you think that they are just the worst person in the world. And you get angry, you get upset, you're full of regret, resentment, bitterness. All these are still emotions. Why? Because emotion is the product of human engagement, okay? Whether it be online, whether it be a memory, whether it be in person, whether it be in group, the individual, small, tall, young, homosexual, heterosexual, polyamorous, polygamous, it doesn't matter. Christian, Catholic, Muslim, it doesn't matter what you are, okay? Emotion is the product of human engagement. So, and I said it like that so that you can understand the difference between intuition and emotion. Like, emotion is not intuition. Even though your body's physical body detects them in the same manner. You experience happiness and joy in the same manner your physical body does. The reason why you don't understand is because you don't want to slow down to discern. Discernment is not a fast process. You just want to have everything quick. Microwave society. Discernment happens in 3 steps, okay? In 3 steps. Observation, verification, and belief. You're rushing, so you can't verify anything. It's like trying to read an entire book with somebody holding it up, but you're driving a car at 50 miles an hour. You won't be able to read that book, let alone one word on it. Now, emotion, okay. How is it not real if we can detect it? I mean, why can we detect it if it's not real? If emotion is not real, how can we detect it? Well, emotion is kind of like light. Emotion is kind of like light. We our eyes can detect light. And God said that the light was good. So he called the light day and the dark night. This is one reason why I believe every single child is afraid of the dark one point in their life. In actuality, here's a secret. Most humans, most adults are still kind of afraid of the dark. You might not have known that, but even you might not be terrified and run, but you might not even use a nightlight. But for example, there's a joke online, like you'll be turning off the lights in your house or in your apartment, and as you're walking into your room, but your imagination kicks in and you think the scary goblins that hide only in the dark are coming out of the closet. They're coming out the kitchen cabinets. They're trying to attack you and kill you and bring you down to hell, right? So you feel that, and you're like, your heart naturally starts. I think this was plainly stated in the Bible as like a parable. God made the day, or let there be light. The light's good. The fact that God said the light is good means that the dark is not good. He did not say the dark is good. So when you understand this, anything that he says is good, but does not ever talk about the opposite as good, more than likely we will have natural reactions to it. This is why people are afraid of the dark. Many adults are still afraid of the dark. You don't need a nightlight, but your heart still pumps if you're turning off the light in your staircase. If you are the only person in your school, like in elementary or middle school, and all the lights are off, you're going to be a little scared, right? Not that there's anything physically there. You're going to be a little scared. Ooh, this is creepy. Yeah, it is creepy because you're scared of the dark. Now, the emotions are like light. Okay? Emotions are like light. When you detect light, you can see. When there is no light, you cannot see. Your eyes are only designed to detect light, not to detect dark. That's just truth. Okay? Your eyes only react when light comes across it, not when darkness comes across it, because darkness doesn't even travel. There's no such thing as darkness. Darkness is not even real. Just like emotions, darkness is not real. Darkness is only the absence of light. When there's no light, you have dark. It doesn't occur the other way around. When there's dark, there's no light. That doesn't even make sense, because the light is the thing that pushes out. Darkness doesn't do anything. It's nothing. There's no single cell organism called darkness. You can't dissect darkness. You can't take a scoop out of darkness and put it underneath the microscope. There's no possible way darkness is ever going to be conceptualized in any science book. It's only the absence of light. And God said the light is good, and he called it day. Now, And this is why in many of our stories, all the bad guys, all the evil things are in the dark. All of everything is always in the dark, you know? So, um, anyway, just like emotions are like light, okay? Or um, emotions kind of mimic the pattern between light and dark, okay? Your brain is so powerful at detecting patterns, but sometimes it doesn't understand how to do it. So, your brain, when your mind believes that God is not currently present, when your mind thinks that God is not currently present, what ends up happening is your mind transfers that information through its own sources. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but now your brain can conceptualize, um, uh, oh, hey, something's missing. Let me create something. And what is created is called an emotion. Okay? Emotions are the absence of God. But in reality, God is not ever absent. It's just that you think that there's no God in this particular spot. So whenever you leave grace, you enter an area called misery. And in this place called misery, this bubble called misery, you experience a lot of things. You experience a thing called happiness, anger, sadness, depression. Okay? Do you realize all of the monsters that you created in your mind that live in the closet, that live underneath your bed, are all human like? That's why emotions, like, remember, emotions are social agitation. They require human engagement on some level, whether it's in your mind, in your brain, online, on the phone, a memory, or in person. Okay. So when you think or assume that there's no God, your brain begins to fill in the gap. Your brain begins to fill in the gap. Just like the darkness. Because your light is not equipped, or because your eyes are not equipped to actually detect darkness, your mind and brain fill in the gap. Oh, there's monsters in there. There's monsters. It's a survival mechanism. Okay? Emotions, and I'm going to get to how demons use them against you. Okay? Emotions deep down are like human to human outside of demons, because emotions are not productive. Emotions are all bad, but they are not necessarily evil. Okay? They are not demonic. Demons did not create emotions. Humans created emotions. Okay? And when we are not detecting God, your brain and mind work together to then produce an emotion. Okay? So, why are all emotions bad? Number one, nowhere in the creation of all of everything, in the 6 days that God created everything, he did not say anything about emotions. Okay? God did not say anything about emotions. Like, oh, this was happy. I had fun. You know, this made me sad. Oh, I'm depressed. Like that, nothing. Okay. Um, so that's number one, because we are made in God's image, and we as humans, remember the word image, it means artificial representation of a person or a thing. Artificial representation of a person or thing. When you understand that, then you now know that God created artificial intelligence and called his artificial intelligence human beings. We are in the image of God. We are artificial representation, just like Chat GPT and Gronk and all these great AI tools that humans created. They can only act like humans. They can only think like humans. And once we get robots that have artificial intelligence and move exactly like humans do, they can mimic us, but they cannot be us. They will never be exactly like us. And if they decide to act like dogs and cats and stuff that they're not designed to do, they will enter a thing called misery. Okay? When you don't act in the image of God, you enter a place called misery. Okay? Emotions, all of your emotions are bad. Why? Because emotions lead to every last one of your urges in life. Every last one of your urges in life, like this is the function of an emotion. When you when you see, let's say, a pretty woman in your mind, and now you want to go masturbate. Okay, that urge to go masturbate started with an image. You then connected this image. You had this engagement with this person in your mind, which then created the emotion. That emotion is the urge. It's the urge. It's the push that made you go and get your cell phone, some lotion, and masturbate. Okay, all emotions get you to urge. Okay, and your urges are always not in your purpose. Okay, God does not urge you. God does not rush you. Every emotion will get you to urge. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, the next time you feel an emotion, I want you to have the emotional conversation, okay? With this emotion, if it's happiness, sadness, anger, disappointment, whatever emotion that you are experiencing, I want you to open your mouth out loud. You don't have to yell, just speak it. But communicate to the emotion. I understand that emotions are not real, but you'll be shocked what happens next. Say things like, happiness, why are you here? And then be quiet. Don't say anything else after that. Just sit there for 5 to 10 seconds, and you will receive an image in your mind. An image will come there. And if you like happiness, why are you here? Well, happiness will show you an image of a bar, or an image of candy, or an image of your husband or your wife, an image of your dogs playing, an image of your mom, how much you love her, how much you love your dad, and all this great stuff. That image is the reason why happiness is here. You can do it with anything. Sadness, why are you here? If you just can't break depression, if you can't ever get rid of depression, you've been depressed for so long, and now you think it might be chemical. Before you do that, take drugs. Open your mouth and have the conversation with the emotion. Depression, why are you here? You'll get an image into your mind, and the image might be, just for example, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm living check to check. Oh, I haven't seen my kids in 3 months. Oh, I'm being alienated from my kids. Oh, my ex-husband is not good to me. And he's taking me to court every month, right? This is something that that you should understand. Okay? Having the emotional conversation with your emotions can clear up or can bring clarity. Okay? And then once you have clarity, you can just not do the urge. Because once you expose the reason for the emotion goes away. Your problems will not be solved. I'm not trying to solve your problems. You'll have to have problem solving skills in real life to deal with real people. Yes. And then more emotions will come up. But once you look at the emotion goes away. That's true. I always say, observe the urge and it goes away. So, emotions are often a tool that demons use to influence you and inspire you. How? So once you open your mouth and speak things, this is spiritual contract. Once you say, I am stupid, or a better one is, I don't like when you do this. Well, now you have exposed and told not only God, but you told demons what you don't like. And what that is called is venting, but what the Bible says it's called idle lips. And the Bible says idle lips are the devil's mouthpiece. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. Okay? When you have idle lips, when you don't verify the words that come out your mouth, you sow seeds in places you don't want. So, and after you profess something, demons remember it forever. Demons will not forget what makes you mad, what makes you feel good. Okay, so you can just do nothing and take the easy route. And I mean this wholeheartedly, and it's hard to not vent. I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard, very hard to not curse somebody out, to not speak against somebody. It's very hard. Everybody has that. Ooh, did you see him? He stinks. Not knowing he might be homeless and he might be depressed and he might be on his way to buy a gun and at the next person that makes fun of him. So like emotions oftentimes are used as tools by demons. How? All a demon needs to do is know what you don't like, and they will plant an image inside of your mind. The thing that you said you do not like, demons will plant that image inside of your mind for you to focus on. This is why I always say, if you can't control your mind, you are weak-minded. Not that you don't have willpower, is your mind is weak, not your brain, your mind. Your imagination, your focus, your attention. People have cheap attention, okay? And check the links below, okay? But cheap attention is something that is ruining people all across the world. You pay attention to every single urge in life, every single complaint, every single little tiny fire, you go and try and put it out, especially as business owners. Doing this stuff never gets you ahead. Okay, never. Cheap attention, actually, if you're not getting ahead, you're dying. There's a law of the universe, kind of like law of polarity, law of thermodynamics. You know, there's a law that inertia, and then there's a law of entropy. Okay, inertia, once in motion stays emotionless, acted, upon by an outside force. Entropy is when you do nothing. Okay, doing nothing leads to death. That's the law of the universe called entropy. Do nothing, let it sit, like for forever or for just long enough, and it will destroy itself. A mountain cannot be a mountain forever, even though it's solid. Air, if you just leave air all by itself in a vacuum sealed, or I don't know how you would do that, or in a container that does not allow outside air in, that air too will destroy itself. Not that it will explode or like combust or anything crazy like that. It won't be the same. Okay? A mountain eventually will turn into sand. That sand will eventually turn into mud. That mud will turn into fertilizer. That fertilizer will become the Amazon forest. The Amazon forest will then eventually, millions and billions of years, will become, a mountain again through earthquakes and stuff, volcanoes. Okay, and this is real. Okay, so your emotion is used against you by images for you to pay attention to. Once you pay attention to the images that you've already confessed, your weak points, okay? When you speak like this, you're telling demons the weak point for them to attack you. Venting is not good. I'm telling you, venting is not good. This is why right now, Kyle is against therapy. Like therapy to manage your emotions. I'm against that. It only makes you feel better. You don't do better. Demons, like once you vent to your therapist, you feel good, but your therapist for sure goes home overwhelmed. Why? Because venting is a transfer of spirits. That's what venting is. It's when you're just transferring the spirit from one person to another. That's why it feels good after you're done. But the other person, if you transferred it well enough, you would make them feel weird. And it happens all the time. Like and venting is not just by voluntary stuff. Like you can be happy and then vent. After you're done telling your wife or your husband, how happy you are, what you don't know is you feel good, not necessarily happy in the moment, but your partner begins to feel a little off. Give it 15, 20 minutes. They don't feel good anymore. It happens like clockwork. Don't vent. Okay, so demons use emotions to urge you. Demons use emotions to cloud your vision. Emotions cloud visions through intercepting discernment. Okay, next, your emotions never were designed to lead you. They are not your master. They are not supposed to be in front. You're not supposed to do whatever you want or whatever you feel. Do not do as your emotions tell you. That is the number one aspect that I look for in people that I keep in a close circle. Do they let their emotions lead them? Quite possibly, They are the ones that allow their children to be the head of the house. Oh, my children come first. Why? Because you love your children. So then you use this love and put them as your number one. And now they are disrupting mommy and daddy time for a snack immediately after they just ate dinner. Your child is never first. But that does not mean that you will neglect your child. Your child is not supposed to be first. As soon as you walk through that front door, as soon as you walk through that front door, you look for your wife. You call your husband. Okay, if whoever's home first or second, okay, you ignore the kids, you ignore the dogs. Everybody's gonna try and come and hug you, and the dogs are gonna try and lick you. You beeline it for your significant other, your wife or your husband. You go straight towards them, and this is good. Okay, this is very good. If you make emotions your leaders, this is what I call emotionally unintelligent. You do not have emotional intelligence if you say, I put my child first. You do not have emotional intelligence if you vent. You do not have emotional intelligence if you let emotions be your master. Okay? Flowing to what things feel good is an emotion, and all emotions are not good for you. Okay? Well, please look at the show note, okay? Gifted and Fruitful, it's another lesson, it's another YouTube video, okay? Cheap Attention is also another lesson, it's another video. I want you guys to go down and look at both, okay? If you didn't know, now you know.